working with women infected and affected by HIV and AIDS. And what we are doing here is like bringing hope to them by introducing income generating activities, because most of them are like they're not able to assist maybe their families because it's like there is no available work they can do to help their families, and we find most of them opted maybe to go to do prostitution so that they are able to support their families.
And because of the economic situations, they were justifying the way they lived. And of course, there were the others who were not infected, but they were very, 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 very vulnerable because they were unemployed and they were looking for a way of surviving. So we started talking with the ladies, and I asked them, you are given an opportunity to change your lifestyle and not continue living the way you are. You are living, what is it that you would want? And many of them said they would want to be trained in weaving, others in sewing. They had a whole lot of suggestions. God gave me wisdom to start thinking, okay, I think we need something like a center where we can begin training all these women in a skill that could provide an income for them.
Weaving is our primary product. Women are learning everything about the weaving process, from how to even card the wool, spin the wool, dye the wool, and then build their own looms on walls. We are producing wall hangings and carpeting, and we have big looms that are very nice and very sophisticated, and making kangas, kikois, which is like the material that the skirt that I'm wearing is made out of, where you can use this material for clothing, for table covers, for draperies, and that we are learning now to make items of these. So they're sewing bags, skirts, blouse tops, uniforms, using some of the material that we've made.
In the training department, they start off on paper. They're with us for 1 year. They come in, start off on paper. They do basic sewing designs on paper. We try and expose them to as many designs as possible, simply because once they're out in the market, they will be able to come across these designs, and they will be able to handle them. And then from there, they will now proceed on to cloth, where they will start doing their cutting out and the actual stitching on cloth. And hopefully by the end of 1 year, they will be able to handle cloth.
We have a lot of children that have become attached to Beacon of Hope because their mothers either are currently or have been and have died, been part of our program because they have HIV/AIDS. And these children then are being raised by the grandmothers or by aunties, and they really have no means of support. And we find that we are kind of the sponsors of these children.
And there was no way we were actually going to watch those kids go to the streets, because that's where they were headed. So by faith, we took on those kids and bought uniform and just trusted God to provide, and somehow He did.
The kids who we have here, they come from within the locality. Most of them have come from Kwale slums. This is a slum which is just near Beacon of Hope, where most of the children that we do have here are orphans, and we also have others who are not orphans, but they are vulnerable to maybe HIV or maybe other challenges in life. So maybe their parents are not well up, others their parents are there but they don't care. So we are trying to care for these children as an organization of Beacon of Hope.
We managed to talk to their next of kin, who are the aunties and the grandmothers especially, who are left to take care of them. Now, these grandmothers don't actually have a regular income. So whenever the kids were on holiday, or they would come in the evening for the ones in the local schools, they would have a problem feeding them. So God put another burden in my heart, and we thought, okay, so what can these grandmothers do to generate some income? So they came, we talked, and they came up with the idea of the basketry. I had another different idea, but I've learned in this work that don't impose your ideas on people, on the community. Get them to tell you what they want. Because when they come up with the ideas of what they want, then there'll be complete ownership. And you need to push them around, because it's them. I think they have the solutions. All they need is someone to guide them and mentor them.
And these grandmothers are all teaching each other how to do sisal weaving and making mats and handbags out of sisal and baskets. So we have some of these that are now for sale, and the grandmothers are earning a little bit of profit. Everybody that works and learns something at Beacon gets paid as they produce, not when it's sold in our shops or sold overseas. They're paid by the foot or whatever for what they're making. And that's kind of good too, because from the beginning, people have a little bit of an income coming in.
If you're talking about prevention of HIV and AIDS and also helping the ones who are infected to manage their circumstance, we also need to help the wider community to understand about HIV and AIDS and to know their status, because you cannot be able to deal with something that you don't know whether you have it or not.
We started about 2.5 years ago, and the purpose was to help our patients who knew their HIV status to stay well and remain a longer time taking care of their families, working at their jobs if they were working, and putting off the time when they might need additional medications such as antiretroviral therapy. So we try to teach them how to maintain their health by taking care of illnesses when they first occur, rather than waiting a month or 2 or 3.
I came Beacon of Hope year 2003. I start home-based care. I read home-based care 6 good months. Then I graduate. After that, I joined the training, weaving. Then I graduate after that. Then I joined the Vision Group. After that, I got job.
There's a scripture that talks about how God allows us to go through suffering, and the suffering we receive His comfort, and that comfort we receive from Him, we're able to comfort other people. So I think I've seen that scripture put into work right here at Beacon. You know, as we've reached out to other people, they've experienced God's goodness, God's blessings, they've been able to bless other people. Yeah. So even though we've seen a number of them pass on, it's not with hopelessness. Yeah. They die knowing the Lord, but I think they also leave a witness and a testimony to their families and their children and the people around them.